You don't earn what you deserve. You earn what you think you deserve. Think small, and your life stays small. Think big, and everything begins to change. This audiobook will not motivate you. It will reprogram you. If you sit ready to raise your income, your confidence, and the level of your life, then listen carefully. Because the moment you change your thinking, you change your destiny. Most people wake up every day believing their life is already decided. They move through the same routines, accept the same limits, and silently agree with the voice that says, "This is enough." But deep inside, something feels wrong. Because the human soul was not designed for smallness. It was designed to grow, expand, and rise. The truth is uncomfortable, but it is powerful. Your life today is a mirror of your thinking yesterday. Not your education, not your connections, not your luck. Thoughts shape decisions, decisions shape actions, and actions quietly shape destiny. Change the thought, and the future begins to shift. Many people work hard their entire lives and still feel stuck. They confuse effort with progress and motion with growth. But effort without direction only leads to exhaustion. If the mind aims low, the hands can never reach high. Hard work matters, but thinking big gives it purpose. Without big thinking, effort leaks away. Small thinking is subtle and dangerous. It doesn't scream, it whispers. It tells you to wait, to be realistic, to stay safe. It disguises fear as logic and comfort as wisdom. Over time, it shrinks courage and dulls ambition. And slowly, dreams are replaced with excuses. The world does not reward potential alone. It rewards belief put into motion. Two people can have equal talent and opposite results. One expects little and receives little. The other expects growth and creates opportunity. Expectation becomes a silent command to life. From childhood, many are taught to lower their sights. Don't dream too big. Don't stand out. Don't risk failure or embarrassment. But no great achievement was ever born from caution. Progress belongs to those who dare to think beyond permission. History remembers the bold, not the careful. Thinking big does not mean arrogance or fantasy. It means refusing to accept artificial limits. It means asking better questions instead of better excuses. How can I grow? Replaces, why can I? Big thinking opens doors the eyes could not see before. Possibility expands where belief lives. The mind is the control center of your entire life. What you feed it becomes what it produces. Feed it fear, and it creates doubt. Feed it belief, and it builds confidence. Every thought is a vote for the person you are becoming. Choose carefully what you repeat. Most limitations are not real barriers. They are assumptions passed down and never questioned. Someone once failed and called it impossible. Others believed them and stopped trying. But progress happens when someone challenges the old story. Growth begins the moment you doubt itself. The moment you start thinking bigger, resistance appears. Fear shows up, disguised as responsibility. Comfort tries to negotiate with ambition. This is not a sign to stop. It is proof that you are leaving the familiar. Every upgrade in life feels uncomfortable at first. Thinking big requires courage before clarity. You will not see the entire path at the start. You only need to see the next step. Confidence grows after action, not before it. Movement creates belief, not the other way around. Waiting for certainty keeps dreams frozen. Many people wait for permission to rise, permission from society, family, or circumstances. But permission rarely arrives. Those who move forward decide for themselves. They stop asking if they are allowed. They act as if growth is their right. Your past does not define the size of your future. Mistakes are not life sentences. Failures are lessons wearing heavy clothing. When you think big, you reframe your history. You stop seeing proof of weakness. You start seeing training for strength. Big thinking changes how you speak. Words become intentional, not accidental. Complaints turn into plans. Excuses turn into strategies. Language shapes focus, and focus shapes results. Speak as someone moving forward, not standing still. The world responds differently to big thinkers. Opportunities appear where excuses once lived. People feel the energy of belief. Confidence attracts resources, ideas, and allies. This is not magic. It is alignment. Life supports those who take themselves seriously. Thinking big does not guarantee an easy path. It guarantees a meaningful one. Challenges grow as vision grows. But so does resilience, skill, and strength. A small life avoids pain, but misses purpose. A big life earns both growth and fulfillment. Every day you are either expanding or shrinking. There is no neutral position. Comfort pulls downward while vision pulls upward. What you think repeatedly becomes your direction. Choose thoughts that stretch you, not shrink you. Your future listens to your inner dialogue. The greatest tragedy is not failure. It is never discovering what you were capable of. Potential unused is possibility wasted. Thinking big honors the gift of your existence. It says, I will not live beneath my ability. That decision alone changes everything. You were not meant to merely survive. You were meant to build, contribute, and rise. Life responds to bold belief backed by action. The moment you reject small thinking, momentum begins. This is not the end of comfort. It is the beginning of purpose. This wake-up call is not about comparison. It is about alignment with your highest self. The version of you that refuses to settle. The version that chooses growth over fear. Thinking big is not optional for fulfillment. It is the price of becoming fully alive. When you begin to think big, the first thing that changes is your energy. Your posture shifts, your voice strengthens, and your presence becomes noticeable. Big thinking activates a different frequency within you. It replaces hesitation with intention. You stop drifting through days and start moving with direction. Purpose begins to replace routine. Thinking big expands what you believe is possible. Suddenly, options you never considered come into view. The mind stops asking, can this happen? And starts asking, how can I make this happen? That shift alone rewires your approach to life. Possibility becomes a tool, not a fantasy. Your actions automatically rise to meet your expectations. When you expect little, you do little without realizing it. But when expectations rise, behavior follows. You prepare more, learn more, and attempt more. Big thinking silently demands higher standards, and higher standards produce better results. Big thinking forces growth. Small thinking allows comfort to remain unchallenged. Growth only happens when pressure is applied. When your vision is larger than your current ability, you are forced to evolve. This is how ordinary people become extraordinary. The world rewards those who solve bigger problems. Small thinking focuses on survival. Big thinking focuses on contribution. The more value you aim to create, the more rewards naturally follow. Impact and income grow together. Thinking big also changes how you see obstacles, problems. Stop looking like walls and start looking like puzzles. Instead of retreating, you engage. You search for lessons, leverage, and alternatives. Big thinkers don't distant ask why something is hard. They ask how to make it work. Your confidence increases when your thinking expands. Not because fear disappears, but because fear no longer controls decisions. Big thinking trains the mind to move forward anyway. Courage becomes a habit, not a moment. Action replaces overthinking. Big thinking improves decision-making. You stop choosing what feels safe in the short term. You begin choosing what serves the long-term vision. This prevents regret before it is born. Clarity grows when the destination is clear. Vision simplifies choices. When you think big, time becomes valuable. You stop wasting it on distractions and drama. Focus sharpens, because the goal demands it. Every hour begins to matter. Urgency replaces procrastination. Discipline becomes easier when purpose is strong. Big thinking changes how others respond to you. People sense direction and conviction. Opportunities often come through conversations. Doors open when belief is visible. This is not luck, it is perception. Confidence invites collaboration. Thinking big removes the fear of standing out. You stop shrinking to fit into small spaces. You stop apologizing for ambition. Growth requires visibility. Those who rise must be willing to be seen. Greatness never hides. Big thinking also increases resilience. When the vision is big, setbacks feel smaller. You don't quit because the reason is larger than the pain. Purpose absorbs pressure. This is why big thinkers endure what others cannot. Meaning fuels persistence. Your self-image begins to upgrade. You no longer see yourself as someone trying. You see yourself as someone becoming. Identity shapes behavior more than motivation ever could. Big thinking installs a bigger identity, and identity drives consistency. The gap between who you are and who you want to be becomes fuel instead of frustration. You stop resenting the distance. You use it as motivation to grow. Big thinkers fall in love with progress. They measure movement, not perfection. Thinking big improves how you handle failure. Mistakes become feedback, not verdicts. You extract lessons instead of shame. This accelerates improvement. Big thinkers recover faster because they learn faster. Failure loses its power. Your lifestyle begins to align with your vision. Habits change naturally when goals are clear. You eat differently, think differently, and act differently. Discipline feels less like sacrifice. It feels like self-respect. Alignment creates momentum. Big thinking also sharpens patience. You understand that meaningful success takes time. You stop rushing the process. Consistency replaces impatience. Faith grows alongside effort. You trust the long game. When you think big, excuses lose their appeal. They no longer protect your ego. They only delay your destiny. Responsibility becomes empowering. Ownership replaces blame. Power returns to your hands. Big thinking is not a one-time decision. It is a daily discipline. You must choose it again and again. The mind naturally drifts toward comfort. Vision pulls it back toward growth. This is how transformation becomes permanent. Once thinking expands, it never fully shrinks back. You begin to see life differently forever. Old limits feel uncomfortable and outdated. Small goals no longer satisfy you. Growth becomes the standard. This is why thinking big changes everything. Some people rise no matter where they start. Others stay stuck, even with every advantage. The difference is not luck or intelligence. It is the standard they hold for themselves. Winners expect progress. Losers expect comfort. Winners see life as something to shape. Losers see life as something that happens to them. One takes responsibility. The other waits for permission. Control always belongs to the one who believes they have it. Mindset determines position. When winners face obstacles, they look for leverage. When losers face obstacles, they look for excuses. The situation may be the same. The interpretation is different. And interpretation decides action. Action decides outcome. Winners ask better questions. They ask how, not why. They ask what can be learned, not who to blame. Questions shape focus. Focus directs energy. Energy creates results. Losers often confuse caution with wisdom. They call fear being realistic. They avoid risk to avoid discomfort. But avoiding risk also avoids growth. Safety rarely leads to significance. Comfort is the quiet enemy of progress. Winners understand delayed gratification. They are willing to sacrifice now to gain later. They choose discipline over pleasure. They invest when others consume. This patience compounds into advantage. Time works for those who respect it. Losers focus on what they lack. Winners focus on what they can build. Scarcity thinking shrinks possibility. Abundance thinking multiplies it. What you focus on expands. Attention is creative. Winners are students for life. They read, listen, and learn constantly. They know ignorance is expensive. Growth requires humility. Ego blocks improvement. Curiosity accelerates mastery. Losers wait to feel ready. Winners move while still uncertain. Confidence is built in motion, not waiting. Clarity follows action. Those who wait for perfection remain stuck. Progress belongs to the brave. Winners use criticism as data. They extract truth without absorbing poison. Feedback becomes fuel, not fire. Losers take everything personally. Emotion clouds judgment. Detachment sharpens growth. Winners think long-term. They measure success in decades, not days. They are not distracted by short-term noise. Vision filters decisions. Impulse fades in the presence of purpose. Direction simplifies discipline. Losers envy success without studying it. Winners study success without envying it. They look for patterns, habits, and strategies. They understand success leaves clues. Learning replaces jealousy. Growth replaces resentment. Winners build habits before they build results. They know discipline creates freedom. Small actions, repeated daily shape identity. Consistency outperforms intensity. Habits decide the future quietly. Results eventually follow. Losers blame circumstances. Winners adapt to circumstances. Blame removes power. Responsibility restores it. Those who own their outcomes can change them. Ownership is strength. Winners guard their environment. They choose what they watch, hear, and consume. They understand influence is invisible but powerful. Losers absorb everything without filter. Input determines output. The mind reflects what it consumes. Winners speak with intention. Their words reinforce belief and direction. Losers speak carelessly. They reinforce doubt without realizing it. Language programs. The subconscious. Words shape reality. Winners recover quickly from setbacks. They do not camp in disappointment. They analyze, adjust, and advance. Resilience becomes their advantage. Momentum returns faster each time. Experience builds strength. Losers seek approval before action. Winners act and let results speak. Validation is unreliable. Progress is undeniable. Those who move forward create their own permission. Courage precedes recognition. Winners measure themselves against potential. Losers measure themselves against others. Comparison distracts from growth. Self-mastery creates progress. The real competition is internal. Becoming beats competing. Winners commit fully once they decide. They remove the option to quit. This commitment sharpens focus. Half-hearted effort creates half results. Decisiveness multiplies power. Clarity fuels execution. The line between winners and losers is drawn in the mind long before results appear. Thoughts become habits. Habits become identity. Identity becomes destiny. Think like a winner, and life follows. Small thinking rarely announces itself. It slips into the mind quietly and settles in unnoticed. It sounds reasonable, cautious, even responsible. But beneath its calm voice is fear. Fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of growth. And fear slowly shrinks what could have expanded. Small thinking convinces you to play safe. It tells you not to risk what you already have. It magnifies loss and minimizes opportunity. Over time, it trains you to protect comfort instead of chasing progress. Safety becomes the goal, and growth becomes optional. The danger of small thinking is not immediate failure. It is slow stagnation. Days repeat, years blur, and potential fades quietly. Nothing collapses, but nothing rises either. Life becomes predictable, but unfulfilled. This is how dreams die without noise. Small thinking lowers expectations without permission. You begin to settle for less than you once imagined. Goals shrink to match convenience. Ambition is replaced by routine. What once excited you now feels unrealistic. Hope slowly trades places with habit. It teaches you to measure yourself by limitations, by what you lack, instead of what you could build. Past mistakes become permanent labels. Temporary setbacks turn into lifelong ceilings. You stop seeing progress as possible. Identity hardens around doubt. Small thinking disguises itself as realism. It says, be practical when it really means be afraid. It questions ambition but never questions fear. It demands proof before action, but proof only comes after action. This trap keeps many stuck forever. When small thinking dominates, courage weakens. You hesitate longer. You overthink decisions. You delay action until motivation fades. Opportunities pass quietly while you analyze. Regret replaces risk. It narrows perspective. You begin to focus on what could go wrong. Worst-case scenarios dominate imagination. The mind rehearses failure instead of success. This mental rehearsal becomes emotional reality. Fear feels justified and familiar. Small thinking also isolates. You avoid people who challenge your limits. You feel uncomfortable around big ideas. Growth threatens the comfort zone, so you retreat to familiarity. Isolation keeps belief small. It affects how you speak. Language becomes cautious and conditional. I shall try replaces I will. Maybe someday replaces commitment. Words lose strength, and with them, belief weakens. Small thinking makes excuses feel logical. You explain away opportunities. You justify inaction with responsibility. You wait for perfect timing that never arrives. Excuses protect ego, but steal progress. Comfort wins, growth loses. It also distorts time perception. You believe there will always be later. Later to start, later to change. later to take risks, but later quietly turns into never. Small thinking creates comparison-based fear. You focus on people ahead of you. You ignore those behind you. You forget everyone starts somewhere. Comparison discourages movement. Progress requires focus inward. It conditions you to avoid visibility. You hesitate to speak up or stand out. You fear criticism more than regret. But growth requires exposure. Nothing significant happens in hiding. Visibility is the price of impact. Small thinking weakens resilience. Minor setbacks feel like confirmation of failure. You quit sooner. You doubt faster. Persistence feels exhausting without belief. Vision is what carries endurance. It convinces you that change is dangerous, that staying the same is safer. But stagnation carries its own risk. Time moves forward whether you do or not. Standing still is still a decision, and it has consequences. Small thinking limits contribution. You underestimate the value you can offer. You play small to avoid pressure. But the world needs expanded minds. Progress depends on people who think beyond fear. Small thinking robs both you and others. It teaches you to survive, not to thrive, to manage life instead of mastering it. Survival thinking keeps you busy but unfulfilled. Thriving requires vision and courage. Without them, life feels heavy, and potential remains unused. The most damaging part of small thinking is that it feels normal. It feels safe. It feels familiar. But comfort is not fulfillment, and familiarity is not destiny. Breaking free begins with awareness. You must catch small thoughts as they appear. Question them. Challenge their authority. Replace them with expansive alternatives. Freedom begins in the mind. Everything begins with what you believe about yourself. Not what you say publicly, but what you accept privately. Your self-belief sets the ceiling for your performance. You will never rise consistently above how you see yourself. Life adjusts to your inner expectations. Belief becomes instruction. If you believe you are limited, you will act carefully. You will hesitate where boldness is required. But if you believe you are capable of growth, you will attempt what once felt impossible. Belief does not remove difficulty. It gives you the courage to face it. Strong self-belief is not arrogance. It is quiet confidence rooted in self-respect. It does not need validation or applause. It stands firm even when misunderstood. True belief remains steady under pressure. It is internal, not performative. Your mind listens to you constantly. Every word you repeat becomes a suggestion. Doubt spoken often becomes doubt lived. Faith spoken daily becomes faith embodied. Self-talk is self-programming. Choose it wisely. Most people underestimate themselves by habit. They carry old labels from the past. Someone once doubted them, and they accepted it. Years later, that voice still echoes. Believing big requires unlearning small identities. You are not who they said you were. Belief grows through action, not waiting. You do not think your way into confidence. You act your way into it. Each small win strengthens belief. Momentum builds identity. Movement creates proof. When you believe big, effort increases naturally. You prepare more seriously. You show up more consistently. You take responsibility for outcomes. Belief raises standards. Standards shape results. Self-belief also changes how you handle failure. Failure stops being personal. It becomes part of the process. You don't collapse when things go wrong. You adjust and continue. Belief stabilizes emotion. Believing in yourself requires independence, not isolation, but internal authority. You stop outsourcing confidence to opinions. Approval becomes optional. Direction becomes internal. This is freedom. Many wait for someone to believe in them first. But belief must come before support. The world supports clarity and conviction. Confidence attracts opportunity. Waiting delays momentum. Believe first. Belief determines how you interpret challenges. With weak belief, challenges feel threatening. With strong belief, they feel temporary. Perspective shifts experience. Belief softens difficulty. Meaning replaces fear. When belief is strong, fear loses control. Fear may speak, but it no longer decides. Courage becomes a habit. You move forward despite uncertainty. Belief gives permission to try. Trying unlocks growth. Believing big reshapes identity. You no longer see yourself as someone hoping. You see yourself as someone building. Identity influences behavior more than motivation. A bigger self-image produces bigger action. This is transformation. Self-belief also sharpens focus. You stop chasing validation. You stop comparing paths. Your energy moves toward progress. Clarity replaces distraction. Belief organizes effort. Belief does not mean certainty. It means commitment despite uncertainty. You decide before evidence appears. This decision creates energy. Energy attracts resources. Action follows belief. When belief wavers, discipline carries you. And when discipline repeats, belief returns stronger. They reinforce each other. This cycle builds resilience. Resilience builds results. Results reinforce belief. Believing big also changes your presence. People sense confidence before words. Your posture, tone, and energy shift. You carry yourself differently. Belief expresses itself physically. Confidence becomes visible. Your belief sets the tone for your future. If you believe small, life contracts. If you believe big, life expands. The world responds to self-perception. Believe in your capacity to grow. Everything else follows. Confidence is often misunderstood. Many believe it is something you are born with. Others think it belongs only to the lucky or talented. But confidence is not a gift. It is a skill developed through repetition, and skills can be learned. Confidence begins with decision, not feeling. You do not wait to feel confident to act. You act, and confidence follows. Movement creates evidence. Evidence builds belief. This is how confidence grows. Every confident person once felt uncertain. They simply chose action over hesitation. They spoke even when their voice shook. They stepped forward while fear watched. Each attempt strengthened their inner posture. Confidence is built in motion. Practice shapes confidence. The more you do something, the less fear controls you. Familiarity reduces intimidation. What once felt impossible becomes routine. Repetition turns discomfort into competence. Confidence follows mastery. Confidence does not mean fear is gone. It means fear is no longer in charge. Brave people feel fear too. They simply refuse to obey it. Confidence is courage, practiced daily, not the absence of fear. Your body influences your mind. How you stand affects how you think. Posture sends signals to the brain. Strong posture encourages strong thinking. Physical confidence supports mental confidence. Action reinforces identity. Speaking with clarity builds confidence. Unclear words reflect unclear thinking. When you speak with intention, Your mind aligns with your voice. Expression strengthens belief. Silence often weakens it. Confidence grows when you keep promises to yourself. Small commitments honored daily build trust. Self-trust is the foundation of confidence. Break promises and belief erodes, honor them, and confidence compounds. Consistency builds self-respect. Learning increases confidence. Knowledge reduces uncertainty. Preparation replaces anxiety. The more prepared you are, the less doubt controls you. Competence fuels confidence. Confidence also grows through exposure. Avoidance keeps fear alive. Exposure weakens it. Each time you face what scares you, fear loses authority. Confidence takes its place. Comparing yourself destroys confidence. There will always be someone ahead. Comparison steals focus from progress. Measure growth against your past self. Progress builds confidence. Comparison erodes it. Confidence requires forgiveness. You must release past mistakes. Dragging old failures forward weakens belief. Learn, adjust, and move on. Confidence grows in forward motion, not in self-punishment. Action creates identity. What you repeatedly do defines who you become. Confident actions build a confident self-image. Waiting reinforces doubt. Movement reinforces belief. Identity follows behavior. Confidence grows when you take responsibility. Ownership creates power. Blame creates weakness. Those who own outcomes can improve them. Responsibility strengthens belief in self. Control increases confidence. Confidence is strengthened by challenge. Easy paths do not build strength. Resistance forces growth. Each challenge overcome becomes proof. Proof becomes belief. Belief becomes confidence. Confidence requires patience. It does not appear overnight. It compounds slowly through effort. Small wins add up. Consistency creates certainty. Time strengthens skill. Confidence improves decision-making. You hesitate less and act more. Clarity increases with practice. Experience sharpens judgment. Decisiveness builds momentum. Momentum reinforces confidence. Confidence also improves how others respond to you. People trust certainty. They follow conviction. Confidence communicates reliability. Belief attracts opportunity. Presence opens doors. You do not need to be perfect to be confident. You need to be committed. Commitment produces progress. Progress builds proof. Proof builds confidence. This cycle changes everything. Confidence is available to anyone willing to practice. It is earned, not gifted. Goals give direction to effort. Without them, energy scatters. You may stay busy, but never move forward. Big goals act like a compass. They organize focus and discipline. They give meaning to action. Small goals keep you comfortable. They do not challenge identity. They fit easily into your current ability. Big goals demand expansion. They force you to grow into a new version of yourself. Growth begins where comfort ends. When you think big about your goals, your standards automatically rise. Average effort no longer feels acceptable. Preparation becomes serious. Discipline becomes necessary. Commitment deepens. Big goals stretch imagination. They push you to see beyond present limits. You stop planning only with what you have. You begin planning with what you can become. Vision replaces limitation. Possibility widens. Fear often appears when goals are big. This is not a warning. It is confirmation that the goal matters. Fear shows the edge of growth. Crossing that edge builds strength. Avoiding it keeps you small. Big goals force better decisions. Time becomes valuable. Distractions lose appeal. You begin to choose alignment over convenience. Clear goals filter behavior. Focus sharpens naturally. When goals are small, excuses survive. When goals are big, excuses suffocate. There is no room for half effort. Big goals demand honesty. They expose inconsistency and force discipline. Big goals require learning. What you know now will not be enough. This pushes you to read, listen, and study. Growth becomes intentional. Learning accelerates progress. Skill follows vision. Thinking big about goals builds resilience. Setbacks feel temporary. The destination is larger than the difficulty. Purpose absorbs pressure. You recover faster. Persistence strengthens. Big goals give life urgency. You stop postponing progress. Every day matters. Momentum replaces delay. Action becomes immediate. Time feels alive. Clarity improves when goals are big. Vague effort disappears. You know what to say yes to. You know what to reject. Boundaries form naturally. Vision simplifies choices. Big goals reshape identity. You no longer see yourself as someone trying. You see yourself as someone training for greatness. Identity changes behavior. Behavior shapes results. Results reinforce belief. Doubt will question big goals. Others may not understand your vision. This is normal. Big goals are personal. They require internal validation. Belief must come from within. Big goals break comparison. You stop measuring against others. Your path becomes specific. Progress becomes personal. Focus turns inward. Growth accelerates. Big goals require patience. They are not meant to be rushed. Consistency matters more than speed. Daily progress compounds. Time becomes an ally. Faith grows with effort. Big goals increase courage. Each step forward strengthens resolve. Fear loses control through exposure. Action becomes habitual. Confidence builds quietly. Strength develops naturally. Thinking big about goals also raises contribution. You aim to solve bigger problems. Bigger problems create greater impact. Impact attracts reward. Purpose and success align. Meaning multiplies. Big goals bring structure to life. Days become intentional. Habits align with outcomes. Discipline feels purposeful. Routine gains direction. Effort feels worthwhile. When goals are big, quitting feels expensive. Too much meaning is attached. You push through low moments. Commitment holds you steady. Vision anchors persistence. Consistency wins. Big goals evolve as you grow. They are not fixed cages. They expand with capacity. Growth creates new vision. Vision creates new goals. This cycle fuels progress. Think big about your goals, not to impress others, but to challenge yourself. Your goals should demand your best. If they don't scare you slightly, they are not big enough. Develop it deliberately. Act even when unsure. Confidence will catch up. And when it does, nothing feels impossible.